welcome back to my channel. My name is Shaki and today I'm going to be tier ranking every single book series I have ever read. So I'm in a little bit of a different setup, just plainly because I didn't have enough room to film this video in the way that I wanted to, like near my bookshelf. Now I'm sure you're thinking, wow, every single book series that she's ever read. I've only actually read 60, and some of these I have a little bit cheated with because I haven't actually read the full series. I'm not a very big series person, so maybe if you would like in the future for me to do one that is just like my favourite standalones or standalones that I've read in this year or something, that might be a bit more like to me, and like maybe I could make the video a bit longer. So we are gonna basically use these columns, which I have all-time faves, really fucking good, average, okay and trash, to tier rank all of the series that I have read. Some info and some I have read the first couple and got bored. We're gonna see how this goes. Here are all of the series I've ever read, tier ranked. I think these are all my series. Now I'm doubting myself. The first series we got here is Caraval. Now I have read the first 2 books in the Caraval series. I actually can't remember what they are about, other than the fact that they remind me a little bit of like a whimsical Saw. I really can't remember what it's about, if I'm going to be honest. Something to do with a game. It reminds me of like a whimsical Saw, and to be honest, I thought this was okay. It was just that, I thought it was okay. It could go up into the average tier, but because I don't really remember a lot of it, I don't even remember any of the characters' names, just remember that they're sisters. It was okay, not really memorable at all. I think this tier is going to be very much so the series for me that have just been really not memorable at all. I think Caraval, I was a bit generous in my initial rating of it, and now I would probably just say it was okay. Next we have the Darren Shan books, which is the Cirque du Freak saga, and I would also probably put these in maybe average. I'm going to put this in because I think that it's a good book. Basically, we are following Darren Shan, who is a little bit of a creepy kid. He is also friends with a vampire, I believe. Again, it's been a long time since I've read Darren Shan. And I only really read, I think, the first 3 books because I ran out of a source to borrow them from and I didn't really fancy buying a whole new series. Maybe I'd missed the mark with them because of the age rating, and I don't really enjoy like middle grade as much as I maybe would have if I was the age range that the book is for. So I'm going to say they're average. They're a bit better. They're a bit more memorable than the okay category, the tier, but I do think it was just average. I think it was run-of-the-mill, kind of forgettable, but it was alright. It was a good experience. Next we have the Mortal Instruments. So I decided to split the Shadowhunters into 2 of the series that I've read. I've also read Chain of Gold, but that isn't a full series yet. I feel like if Chain of Iron was out when I'm filming this, it's not currently. I fucking wish it was. I would have counted that as its own series, but because there's only 1 book in that series, I'm not going to count it yet. So I have included the Mortal Instruments and also the Infernal Devices. I haven't included the Dark Artificers because I haven't read them yet. But yeah, the first one we have is the Mortal Instruments, and I'm going to put this in really fucking good because I really enjoy the Mortal Instruments. It's basically an introduction into the Shadowhunter world, the Shadowhunter Chronicles. The Shadowhunters are basically these people who have like superhuman, like supernatural kind of spiritual abilities to hunt demons, and they are basically trying to fight off the demons from coming into like the mundane world. And we follow them and Clary as she realizes she is a Shadowhunter and her mum has like kept that side of her life a secret. We follow Clary and Jace and Simon, Isabel, Alec, and all like the OG cast. Really, I really like the series. I think that Clary is badass. I think she gets more badass as she goes along. She is quite like, you know, confused and whiny in the first few books, but you're a 16-year-old or even 15, I think she is, maybe even younger than that. Whatever age she is, she's a teenager and she doesn't really know what's happening, and there's weird people all around her telling her that she's different and she's one of them. She doesn't know who they are, so you would be a little bit whiny. And I like the cast of characters as well, which is why I've put it in really fucking good. Have next the Infernal Devices series, which I'm going to put in all-time faves because because if you've read the series, you know that it is golden. It is golden. Obviously not everyone likes it, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but my god, it's my cup of tea and I could drink it all down fucking day. I really enjoy the Infernal Devices series, mostly because of Will Herondale, but we'll get to that in a second. They're kind of like the ancestors and descendants of the people who I just mentioned in the Mortal Instruments. So we're still following the same storyline where Shadowhunters are protecting the mundane race from demons and stuff like that, and there is still a bad guy who is trying to take over the world. So we follow the ancestors of the people in the Mortal Instruments, and it's kind of like a prequel series to that. But this one is also set in London, which is interesting, Victorian London. Sorry, I had to burp. It tastes like banana, hello? I love the series. I think it's very atmospheric. I think it's very kind of grotesque as well, because the concept with the clockwork people who the bad guy, I can't remember his name, is it Mortimer? Mortimer, that rings a bell. Am I thinking of Mortimer Goth from Sims? I probably am. He basically wants to like control these clockwork people, and it's really like creepy, and maybe that's just the word I'm looking for. It's kind of creepy and I really enjoy it, so it's going in all-time faves. Okay, so next we have Every Heart a Doorway, which is part of the Wayward Children series. And the Wayward Children series is very dear to my heart because the first book helped me get out of my reading slump. So this series is basically about kids who stumble across magical doors and they are transported to worlds unlike our own. They're fantastical worlds, and it's a very unique style of urban fantasy, kind of like magical realism, like on the border of it, where it blends them both together, and like some parts are in our world and some parts are very much so in worlds that are very different from ours and very much fantasy worlds. And so when the children eventually come home from these worlds, they open the door back up and they come back through, they are sent to Eleanor's school for wayward children, and they are basically implemented back into society, into real life, where they should be, but really they're trying to find their doors again and find their way back home. So the series on a whole is very interesting. I am reading them right now actually, although I do think the last two books have kind of disappointed me. The first two were amazing, they were really good, I really liked them. The last two books that I've read of it, I think the third and the fourth one haven't been my favourites. So I think I'm gonna go with probably average, which I wanted to put it in really fucking good so bad, because if it was just solely like a standalone with the first book, maybe the first and the second book as like a duology, I would have put it in really fucking good. But the fact that the series seems to just be going a little bit downhill for me and losing my interest, I put it in average. But the first book alone was really good and actually made me cry. I think I gave it 4 stars, and the second book I gave it 3.5. Still really good ratings and stuff, but I think that the other like books in the series just let it down a little bit, which is why it's an average for me. Okay, next off we have Harry Potter, and I'm very tempted, I won't lie, to put this in trash, but Harry Potter itself isn't trash, it's just the writer who is trash. JK Turflick, get out of here, Joanne. So I am gonna put maybe in really fucking good, just because I do love the Harry Potter series. I might change my mind on that. If you don't know what Harry Potter is, then it's about a guy called Harry Potter. End of story. About a guy called Harry. He finds out he's a wizard because Hagrid knocks on his door on a shed and he goes, "You're a wizard, Harry," and he goes, "I'm a what?" It's basically just a series that is so loved by, I think, people my age more so. I love Harry Potter. I'm actually wearing a Ravenclaw hoodie right now. I love the world that JK Rowling has built. I just don't like her because she is gross. I like the community. I like the readathons that have been birthed from it. I like all of the things around it, like the fan culture, but maybe I need to move it down to average, because the story itself is a bit tropey. It's a chosen one. I actually do like the chosen one trope though. I'm gonna leave it in really fucking good for now. We might think about that one later. The next series I've got on here is a graphic novel series, and that one is Heartstopper. So the Heartstopper is consisting of 3 volumes. It's by Alice Oseman, and it's basically just these really cute, fluffy, diverse graphic novels which tackle some maybe considered as like hard topics that the queer community go through, especially queer teens, and they kind of deal with these dark underlying subjects without triggering, which is interesting. For this reason, I'm going to put Heartstopper in really fucking good, because I really like it. It's a really feel-good series. It's not all-time faves, and I feel like there is a lot of characters with a lot of different things going on, but I do really like the series and it is really fucking good. You should read it, definitely. Next we have Illuminae. Like with the Wayward Children series, I feel like Illuminae, the first book is amazing. I love the first book. Maybe they should have kept it to book 1. They were okay, but I kind of read them just to complete the series, which is I feel like what I'm doing with Every Heart a Doorway. So maybe Illuminae should go into the average section. If you don't know what Illuminate is about, it's basically just a war in space, which is told in a mixed media format, and it's phenomenal. It's a sci-fi but told in such a different, magical, enchanting way that just makes a story come alive. It really does. You sometimes have to turn the page to read it because like the text is in a little spiral. The story is interesting, although I don't really remember what is happening. I remember we are following Katie and her boyfriend, who are like on the verge of a breakup, and then I think there's an alien invasion, or they go forward to be put into a war in space, and they're kind of like dealing with their own like breakup and missing each other and like mourning the end of their relationship while being in like a battle in space. It's really good and I enjoyed the first one again, but I feel like the other two really bring it down, and that's why I put it in just average. Next we have the Rosewood Chronicles, and the first book we have here is The Undercover Princess. These are by Connie Glynn, who is a YouTuber, I believe. I'm gonna put this in okay because I've only read the first, no, I think I DNF'd the second one. I think I got halfway through the second one before I DNF'd it, but still I think they are okay. I'm not going to put it in trash. I don't think. I could change my mind, but I just think they're okay. Basically it's about just that, undercover princesses, and I'm pretty sure the first one is where maybe about twins. I really can't, maybe I should put this in trash. I think it was enjoyable at the time, but again I feel like some people just drag a good first book out into multiple books when it should just have been like one book, maybe with a sequel. So I do think it's okay at the moment, and I can't remember what it was about, which is exactly how I feel about Caraval, which is perfect for that tier really. Next we have Saga, which is another graphic novel series. I'm going to put this one into all-time phase up there with Infernal Devices, just because I love this series so much. This is another sci-fi story which is told in the most amazing way. It is told in graphic novel form. I love graphic novels. I absolutely adore them. My shelf is coming along quite nicely with graphic novels. It's another war in space. It's about two opposing families, a bit like Romeo and Juliet. We follow Elena, who is from one side, and Marco, who's from the other. And Marco gets captured by Elena's side, and Elena is like kind of the guard taking care of him. And it turns out they fall in love and they have a baby while he's in captivity. And they are basically on the run with their child, running through space, running through time, against everyone who is trying to capture them, because they're having a baby, a love child from the two like species that should hate each other. A bit like, you know, Romeo and Juliet in space, and sexier too. There is literal like almost porn in these books. Like if you're sensitive to nudity, do not read Saga, because it's, whew, you see a lot of penis, especially with the robots. Them robots are nasty. I love Saga. I could talk about it all day. They're really political actually, and I think they do it in a way that's really good. I love the dynamic of the characters and the politics that goes on throughout the book. I really love it, and you should give it a chance if you can handle a bit of sex, because it is golden, but very crude, very like, you look at the page like, whoa, that's page 3. That's not nice. Next we have one of my all-time, I just spat everywhere. Is it because I'm getting like frustrated because of Saga? Next I have one of my all-time favorite series, Arc of a Scythe, by Neil Schusterman. Currently reading it with my boyfriend. Obviously this is going straight into all-time phase because I love Scythe so much. Even though I was a bit disappointed with The Toll, and Scythe is the best book out of the series, it's not on the same plane as Every Heart a Doorway and Illuminate, in the fact that I prefer the first book over the rest of them. Like the rest of them bring it down. I feel like this series, Arc of a Scythe is the best one, but Thunderhead is still really good on its own, and I still was enthralled and enthused, and I love this world so fucking much. And then The Toll just kind of like, which is the only reason why it might go in really fucking good instead of the top tier, but I love the characters way too much to do that to Scythe. I love it. Everyone knows I love it so much. So Scythe is basically about this near future utopian / dystopian world where death has been conquered. Like there's no one's dying. Immortality is the norm. People live forever essentially. And to contain the population and the information stored in the Thunderhead, who is an all-seeing, all-hearing being who knows your dirtiest of secrets, like when you friggin' when you read Saga in the middle of the night, they have these, you know, normal people who don't have any like special abilities or anything. They're just given this authority, which is really interesting, called Scythes, who are there to glean or kill people. So it's really interesting to see how Neil Schusterman represents death and represents authority and represents all the things to do with Scythe. It is just amazing. They're all morally grey. You don't know who to root for, you don't know what plot twists are real and what aren't, and it's phenomenal. He also writes an amazing villain as well, but you kind of like him. It's phenomenal, and you should definitely go read it if you haven't already. Next we have Shatter Me. I'm not even sorry, that's going straight in the fucking trash pile. Shatter Me follows Juliet, who has a power to like kill people. Is it kill everyone she touches. I don't remember the logistics of the story. I don't remember any of the characters' names apart from Juliet, and I don't have it anymore. I didn't continue on with the series after the first book. First two, I think I read the first two. Nah, Nah. This next one is a series of poetry collections, which I still think that counts towards the series element. Women Are Some Kind of Magic series by Amanda Lovelace. So I'm gonna pop this in. Really fucking good, I think, because I love the series, I love the poems, I love Amanda Lovelace. Amanda Lovelace and Courtney Peppernell alike, they just write poetry that speaks to me, and they are just amazing, incredible women that you should go and read from, because their experiences are much like everyone else's who identifies as a woman, and I think you'll learn a lot if you went and read them. Next we have The Spinster Club by Holly Bourne, which is a YA like series which basically centers around the same group of teenage girls who are kind of like learning about feminism, they're learning about love, they're learning about themselves. It's really good, it's decent. The first book, Am I Normal Yet, is an amazing representation of anxiety and also OCD. Now I can't speak for the OCD bit because I do not have OCD myself, but I can speak for the anxiety part of that. And that is amazing, it's very well done. I read this at a time that I really did need it. I read all of these books, in fact, at times where I really did need them. I'm not sure if it's something that I will revisit in the future. I do love Holly Bourne and I have been keeping up with her most recent like adult releases. I just feel like I am out of the age range now where these books can benefit me anymore. I will profusely recommend them to maybe women who are just finding out about feminism, and you know, even teenage girls, even teenage boys really, because it just teaches you about the world and about how people should be treated really. I'm gonna put them maybe an average because I feel like they are memorable, but they all kind of not as well. Maybe that's just me thinking that I'm out of the age range now, that I'm thinking that they don't benefit me anymore, so I'm putting them lower than they should be. They did have an influence on me in my youth, but I do feel like the story and the writing is kind of just average because it's your average run-of-the-mill YA teen book. So next we have the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han. I love the series so much. It is about Lara Jean, who when she gets like crushes on people, she never tells the people that she's crushing on that she's got a crush on them. She will just write them love letters and keep them in her hat box and never release them to the world. And one day all the letters in that hat box get let out, and she has written letters to everyone that she's ever had a crush on. So they get sent to her childhood crushes, her current crushes, ones that she had like 3 months ago, and she is kind of like running around the school trying to pick up the pieces of all of her crushes being released to the world. It's a really fun story about love and first love, and you know, there's a hate to lovers kind of fake dating trope in here, and it's really, really nice. We get to see the Korean side of Lara Jean's family, and her relationship with her sisters and her dad is phenomenal and really, really sweet and cute. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it in really fucking good. Even though I didn't really like the second book, I feel like it was a filler book a little bit. The first and the last book were great, they were amazing. The last series we have on here is The Hunger Games. I decided to put The Hunger Games in the okay section just because I really enjoyed the first Hunger Games. I won't lie to you, I feel like the movie is better. So the books just didn't compare to the depth of information and the knowledge and the understanding I had from the films because I'd studied them. So Catching Fire was okay as well, and then Mockingjay I didn't really follow, I didn't really like. I'm sorry if like you're hurt, I'm sorry, I'm not really. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. So there you have it. There is a conclusive tier ranked list of all of the completed series that I have read. It doesn't seem like a lot compared to other booktubers that have done this, I will not lie to you, but we ain't about to friggin' compare ourselves to other people in this video, not in this house. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that it was so late, and I'm sorry that I took a break, but there's some really interesting videos and trends that happened while I was gone, and I'd like to catch up on them if that's okay with you. Give this video a thumbs up and my channel a subscribe if you really did enjoy, want to see more. Comment down below maybe some unpopular series opinions that you've got, maybe if you agree with some of these that I've put in here, or if you don't agree. Either's fine. But yeah, I really hope that you have a wonderful day wherever you are and you enjoy any reading that you do. So yeah, see you next time. Bye!